Here all day. Good. How are you?
Yeah, doing great.
So we're gonna, it's my
Everybody have
son's
a cookie.
birthday, so I'm gonna go.
Okay. See ya. See ya.
See ya.
Thanks, Jody. You're welcome. Since she's recording full screen.
She did, okay, yeah. Brad, do you want to chair? Do you want me to chair? How do you want to do this tonight?
I'll let you lead again, and I'm still learning from you, so.
Okay. So you can have next month. Welcome to the Parks, Trails, Recreation Committee meeting for Tuesday, the 21st of June, 2022 at City Hall. Do we have any public comment? Okay, we have a quorum because there's 4 of us here. We want to excuse John Wallace, who's with his family, and Ben is with his family, and was not able to come in on Zoom because the signal is so short.
He's in the middle of Kansas.
Yeah. Approval of the minutes. Did everybody get the minutes? Michelle, thank you very much. They were very detailed and they look wonderful.
My first time ever, so it's a learning curve for me.
Well, I think you
Did a
did.
good job.
That's great.
No complaints. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Yes.
Okay, a second. Let's just do a little recap on the trail, not so much to talk about what we did, but what we have left to do, or what you think we have left to do. It was great. There were, what did you say, Janet, 14, 16 of us?
There were 14 originally. I counted in that group photo that we took by the bench. There were 14, and then a couple of people left. But we had about 12 people that worked most of the time.
It was really good, and we just
I
started.
liked your pictures that you posted on Facebook.
Oh, well, thanks. I tried to take a few. I figured
Did you
everyone
see
else was,
those?
figured everyone else was busy.
Yeah, and we did good working down. We had some people that remained up top to camp, worked our way down. As we got down, they were a little shallower because we were all kind of tired.
Well, there was only 4 of us out front, and we kind of felt it. I mean, we didn't know, but everyone was behind in a big group, and the 4 of us were out front. We were trying, but like near the end, we got tired, and we were just like,
Well,
we
and
can't
Brad, what you
predict
did
all
was
of
great,
these.
too. Yeah.
Well, before you're 5, but I'm saying the ones above, kind of in the middle. Anyway, there was just 4 of us, and it was 3 women and just my son, and so we didn't have a pickaxe or anything, so
Well, they
we were
came out
tired.
great. Natalie, have you been up since then?
Yeah.
What do the water bars look like?
Yeah, they look good.
Good.
Yeah, they're. You could tell they were definitely a little bit more aggressive up top. Based on what we discussed with the engineer, the way those are built, those are going to be. Those are actually pretty aggressive. They don't even need to be that aggressive, so
Okay.
they should really help. So I think they did a great job, and they'll round out obviously a little bit over time. And actually, they already had, since I went up the very next day after you guys, actually the day that you guys got done, I went and saw everything that was done. And then since our last rain, you've already seen a little bit of proper settling, but I mean they're working as they should. So
Good.
So the other thing that I would suggest is that next time that we're a little more organized, and just making sure that maybe that we take groups and we kind of ping pong, so that it's not.
yeah,
Because like Carrie said, there was really nothing for her to do. She was kind of part of the big group. She said, I tried to get Michelle in there, but there wasn't really room for me to get, so she kind of just walked along.
Oh, boy,
Down.
there was plenty of room on that mountain.
I think if we had more pickaxes, we would have been better.
Yeah, if we'd had more, but we will know for next time, right?
Yeah.
To have more pickaxes and just be able to, I thought, if you have like maybe 3 or 4 and you could kind of, you do one
That's
and
what
then
we
you skip
thought
and.
is that you guys at the top were coming down, like, yeah, we thought it would kind of be leapfrog.
next time we do that, which it probably take quite a while to need that kind of effort again. To be honest, I think just myself going up there every once in a while, and anybody else who wants to volunteer, I think we'll be able to mitigate this for quite some time. But if we do go to that kind of effort again, I agree. I think what I was gonna try to facilitate it, had I been able to make it, would break us up into like 4s and then say, hey, these are the switchback numbers, and I had planned to try to make a digital version that said, hey, this is what it looks like, these are numbered and something like that. So I think that would help us at least just kind of go, okay, this is how many bodies showed up, let's divide it by this many and go that way.
So, yeah, I thought it was
So,
great, that's just my suggestion to make it
Yeah.
better.
Well,
yeah,
thanks for
that's a
taking
good
the
idea.
pipe off too.
What's that, sorry?
Thanks for taking the pipe off, that green pipe.
Oh, we took that off on the,
When you went up to check
yeah,
it
when we
out,
went up
that's
and
what I
did the surveying and stuff, and we saw that up there and we took it down then too, so yeah, that's gone. And yeah, now,
Yeah.
if anything, I'll, as I go up there, I plan on just kinda just still working some of the large rocks that are causing issues and stuff, you know, so, but other than that,
And do we still wanna block off 4?
I can do that.
4 where people
Actually,
are
yeah,
going through?
yeah, that was gonna just use some pretty large trees, there's some pretty large ones that we can align that with that I
Okay.
could do. After our last meeting, I think it was, we had quite a bit of rain, and I went up there and actually had to I pulled 8 almost full-size trees off that trail in one trip, so.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, that one when we had a lot, when it got
Oh, yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
windy and a lot of water came down, there was full, I mean, trunks this big that were across the entire trail, like you couldn't not go around them.
Well, now, when you go up, how do you go up?
So that time I was actually hiking that time, so I just hiked up there and just, yeah.
Is this something maybe we should ask the city to do periodically? You know, after we have big wind or big rain, to take their 4-wheeler thing up there and their saw and just,
I mean, honestly, even with the size of the trees and because we have the slope, it was pretty easy as one person to just grab one end, use the slope to get it off. So honestly, I think the majority of it can be done by us frequent users or myself. And I know Craig's mentioned that he does go up there every once in a while and chop things down when he's
Right.
notified of something really large. But
The wildland fire crew, they're on a fire right now in Arizona, when they get back, where all the trees are that are ran down where the avalanche was.
oh, yeah, yeah.
They're gonna cut some of that deadfall down.
Hmm.
So they can check the trail as they go, so I can mention
Yeah,
it to them.
I dropped the ball on that. I was supposed to contact DNR about that. I took pictures, but I forgot. So I-
Yeah, well, Jamin said that they've talked about,
Oh, they
that's,
have?
they've talked to, the city crew has talked about going up there and working on some of that deadfall.
Okay.
Why are they getting afraid of that?
All the dead trees that are a fire hazard.
Oh, for fire hazard, okay.
Yeah, so, the city got a grant to have a fire truck, and so there's a 3-man crew, and it's my son, just because he's a volunteer in the fire department and he's a wildland firefighter, and then, 2 other people that don't work for the city at all, but they're on this, crew, but they go out on fires, like they're out on a fire right now, and it actually makes money for the city, and so when they're not on a fire, the city still isn't paying them, so it doesn't cost the city anything, because it's coming out of this grant. So when they're not on a fire, then they're doing fire mitigation, and the crew boss, the truck boss, that's what he does, has a company that he does fire mitigation too, so he's really, really good at it, and he's been a firefighter for years and years.
Is he the guy in Elbridge or no?
No, he lives in Salem now,
Okay.
but, Lance. Anyway, so that's part of what they're doing.
So I don't need to contact DNR?
I don't think so.
Okay. I will let them know that we mitigated up top, which they gave us permission to do, and send them a picture of Jeff's bench that it was cemented in, just so they know we did what they asked. The other thing is the bullards to keep the UTVs, is that right? To keep the UTVs off. I touched base with Ben because I knew he was trying to put together something for an ordinance, and I asked him, I said, is this really the 50-inch width, or to keep off the UTVs? Is that really ordinance, or can that be a procedure? Because the bullards they will enforce the procedure. It's not like we need the sheriff to go up there and tell somebody that. So I don't see why we couldn't put the bullards in right away. Craig's willing to do it. To keep the great big things off of there.
I'll ask if it has to be, did he answer you if it has to be an
Yeah, he
ordinance?
said, no, he didn't think it needed to be an ordinance. It would be a procedure, kind of like the procedure for the park in terms of hours.
Yeah,
because the bullards would take care of the enforcement, because the city can't enforce a procedure.
Okay.
So will you ask if you
Mhm.
guys both think that's possible? Do we need city council approval? Yes, I would think so.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe get it on the next agenda, and, cause come the 4th of July, we're gonna have a lot of traffic up there,
Okay.
lots of traffic.
I can ask. And I'll be honest, like Jody knows all the procedures. I usually ask Jody. Cause she's been here a really long time and she knows all the procedures. She's got them down. And she usually, if we don't do something quite right in a meeting, she'll let us all know.
Yes, she does.
So it's really good.
Anything else, recap on the trail?
Just a real small one. Do you know whose post hole digger that was used up there? Because somebody left one to hold. It looked like they were using it to hold
It's
the bench in
Ben's.
place dry. Okay, somebody brought it to my house. They somehow knew I was involved and left it with me, so I'll get it back to them
Okay.
then.
It's
So,
Ben's. Yeah, he
okay.
left it leaning and he's been kind of slammed at it. They forgot.
Yeah. Somebody, I don't know who it was that brought. I wasn't there. My wife was like, "Somebody brought this by. Is this ours?" No, I'll figure out whose it is.
I think it's Ben's.
Okay.
Anything else?
Not for that.
Pickleball, basketball, kind of, we know where we are. Where do we need to go? What are the next steps, and who wants to be responsible to make this happen?
Gotta find a grant. And it takes a lot of time.
Okay, well, if we can get private donations, and the only hiccup to that private donation going through Greg's foundation was that we poll the people around the park to see how they felt. Is there anybody that wants to take on the remaining people? We don't have that many left that we haven't talked to.
What about Brett? 'Cause he
Brett's
lives
good
there.
with it, Johnson's are good with
But
it.
I was meaning, he lives there, what if he's the guy who
Yes.
asks, who asks
So
us?
Hey, that's a
asks
great
his
idea.
neighbors,
They are
that's
his
a really
neighbors.
good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Cause
okay,
he's got
That's a
some
great
skin in the game.
Right?
that's a great idea.
It's, yeah, you just volunteer the people who aren't here.
That's why you're supposed to show up.
So part of the people have been talked to, right?
Yes.
You did, okay.
The Lunds have been talked to, which is the White House on the east side of the park. That are putting in, I think, their own pickleball court and pool, maybe they have already put it in. I don't know when the people are building next door to them. Iverson's, yes, Johnson, yes. I did ask John Wallace about it, even though he's not on the park, he's pretty close, he was a yes. We need to ask,
What about the Watsons down below? They're in our ward.
which one are Watson? Are they-
They're in the cul-de-sac, just to the north.
They're in Deer Meadows cul-de-sac, so
Their backyard would be the park.
yeah, more like where the
Okay.
pavilion is, kind of, right?
I have not talked to those people.
In that direction. a
More
little bit
where the frisbee golf.
Yeah, frisbee golf.
Yeah, okay.
So just their backyard kind of faces it, but they're down lower.
Well, I did talk with, and I can't remember what her name is, when I went to the maple tree sapping thing at Witt's house, she was there.
So are we asking for permission, or are we asking?
Just what their
for-
feelings
just
are,
their feelings,
yeah.
or their thoughts on it?
And initially, the wife in that house, the one right across from Iverson's, not the newer one, but. anyway.
Stouts.
Yeah,
Or
yes,
a
yes,
stout.
stout.
I think one
She
critical
said
thing.
no, but then when I said no lighting.
Yeah,
she
she's
was
gonna
fine.
say, I think the critical thing is making sure that he tells everyone that we're not having lighting. And that the idea is that when it gets dark, everyone's done and they go home.
So we poll around the park, let Greg know where to go, and he says, yes, we can go through the foundation. Do we have to approach the city council, and does it have to go through planning? It isn't really change of land use, I don't think.
It probably has to go through planning commission, we probably need to
Okay.
draw a plan. You know what I mean, just a little sketch, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. I just put in a greenhouse and I had to get Because I'm on city council, I had to make sure I do it right. So I got approval, so I just drew up a picture, I drew like the plot line and
Just on your Etch-a-Sketch.
I just, yeah. I actually printed my plat, my property off this website, like the shape of it, and then I drew. So we could do that with the park too. I could print some of those off of just the park and like the shape, and then we could draw where we want it on the, I mean, it's on there, but I
Yeah.
could print a big one
Okay,
of the park, and then we could draw like where we wanna propose them and just get them to approve it.
okay, so Janet, you'll do that. Michelle, will you ask Brett, email Brett? And I'll
Yes.
send you a list of who
Jen,
I've
if it
talked
helps
to.
you any, I would be happy to do if you wanna just get printed copies, I could take it from there too. I know you're pretty busy, so if that helps you any. So
Yeah, it does,
I can go get some measurements and, try to make it, what you guys
okay,
are looking for.
so I'll print the plats for them, and then I'll give them to you.
Okay,
Okay, sure, yeah, I'll just wait for your list of people and ask
Okay.
him to ask them.
can I ask a question regarding the foundation? What is the perk and purpose of running it through through Greg's foundation?
By the towers.
We don't have to wait for grants,
Okay,
which are gonna be,
People could
Pretty
get
minimal.
taxed.
people
Okay.
get a tax write-off.
so just attaching it to his foundation gives him the tax write-off and it just makes things better.
His foundation's called Woodland Hills Outdoors,
Okay,
so it's,
We have somebody that, in the city, and I won't say too much, but she has offered to actually fully pay for a splash pad at the
I've
park.
heard of that. I think
Wouldn't that
that'd
be
great.
fun?
But we could probably get her to donate a substantial chunk. There's a few people, we could also, usually, and I don't know, I'm not speaking for them, but on a lot of the projects, if you talk to some of our other developers that are doing our other neighborhoods, they usually say, I would be happy to donate some to that as well. So I think, we could get some.
Well,
good
hasn't Summit
donations.
Creek volunteered money towards?
That's one of the ones
Summit?
I'm talking about.
And then if it could just be, this is 5 years worth of your,
But Summit Creek also they're very humble about it, and they don't want
yeah.
people to know that they're donating.
no, that's.
We didn't put that in the minutes, did we?
No.
Which is probably a good thing that we
Yeah.
didn't. Good, no, thank you. So we'll draw up the plan and then we'll get it on city council agenda for workshop to send it to planning.
Well, and I think if we have a plan too, then that's good, because then we can sell it to people, right?
Yep.
We can have a drawing, we can say, this is what we're proposing, we've talked to the neighbors, they're good with it. I like the step-by-step plan, because then we know, and then we can sell it to people, we can get donations. Does that make sense, yeah?
Yep.
Yep, I like it.
Can you think of anything else in between, or do we miss any steps for?
Have you had a contractor?
That's my
Give a
question,
bid or-
yeah, have we seen any numbers as far as bids, and has the foundation seen that? Do you know?
No,
There's a couple of companies that do them. It does not include the cement pad, and it's anywhere from 40 to 60 per pickleball court, and that does not include the cement pad. And they have it right on their website, you can go and look up and say like what you want.
So 40 to 60,000,
Uh-huh.
and that, so if it doesn't include the cement pad, what does that include?
Well, it has the little rubber things
On top of the cement?
on top of the cement, and the net, and the
Fence
chain
too,
link
the fence
fencing.
too.
Mhm.
Is that for
And the
two
equipment.
courts?
And the color or whatever?
Each? Oh.
Wow.
So probably we'll have to start with one. I mean, it just depends how it goes. It depends how the donations go. But I think we definitely, like when we draw it,
Let's
And-
draw it for two.
yeah, but I would draw it as like number 1 and number 2. So like this is our first choice. This is the first one, and then if we can get the second one, you know what I mean? Basketball court's a lot easier because you just need a cement pad. And then you just
Yeah.
well, and Ben thought too, either with his contacts with the subcontractors, I'm not sure, when he says, oh, I can get people together, and don't worry about the cement, and
it would just be the cost of the cement. I think he's saying that he thinks he can get
Yeah.
people.
Advantageous to get two because of fencing. Because if you fence one around and then you're you
Yep.
don't need it for the second one.
Mhm. And that, one of the hesitations that somebody said was just about, you know, the hill thing, and the balls running down the hill, and I'm like, oh no, we're gonna have a fence around
You
it.
have to almost.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
if
you
it,
do.
and then if it becomes a problem, we, you know, we can lock them at night if it becomes an issue, if we have a fence. Not that I don't want to, but I'm just saying, if it starts becoming a problem, we could do that. That'll just encourage them to climb the fence and jump over.
Unfortunately. In terms of the basketball court, was that discussed, was this just a single full court, or was there anything else discussed beyond that?
Just a single full court
Okay.
with 2 standards, one on either end.
And we were, yes.
Were you planning a fence on that one?
No,
No,
Cause that was gonna be closer to the pavilion we're considering
Yeah.
between the pavilion and the,
I thought if you could do it in between the pavilion and the playground, there's plenty of room for one there. And then that cement pad could be used for tables and chairs, or like when we have Woodland
Yeah.
Hills days. I'm trying to, you know, multi-purpose.
Utilize it.
If the Woodland Hills Committee wanted to have maybe a Friday night dance,
Oh,
they
that'd
could,
be fun.
they could do it on the cement pad, right? Like you could have it, you could have lights on the stand, or
Yeah.
I can see lots of good city, like, purposes for gathering,
Mhm.
using that. So that was the plan with that one.
so the pickleball courts, they typically have color to the padding and stuff, right? So it's gonna add a little bit of color and stuff there. Or would we be opposed as a town to, if the court itself, the basketball court, had any sort of branding on it? Do you see any reason why you wouldn't? Do you think if we could facilitate some support from the Jazz, that we can make it a Jazz court?
I think that'd be
well,
fun.
definitely, yeah.
Because I know I have
Yeah,
some
you said
people
you
that I
had
could speak to
contact
that
with
may,
members, yeah.
yeah, and they did they sold the team, but they
Right.
still have close connections to them, so
Another
it's not part of it.
Group is like
It'd be worth a
Vivid,
discussion.
or some of those, they have money, like, I was working, I've been on a lot, I can't remember what committee I was on, but we were looking for funds, and they hooked me up with somebody, cause they said, we have money, we're just trying to give away, like, we're just trying to find a good project to give it away to, so that's another good one. We did talk about, and, as you're talking to people, but we would be happy to name a court after a family or a business. You know, we can make a sign that says this, you know, sponsors or whatever, and list 2 or
Yeah.
3 or 4 of them, so.
Well, because that gives the corporation multiple options as far as charitable donation or advertising,
Yeah,
Mhm.
so,
we're, you know, we're happy to do that, stick their name on it, I think that's great.
yeah,
So,
okay.
cool.
Okay, use of city property and lighting. Did y'all get the, I know you maybe emailed it, what Ben's been working on as far as use of city property? He emailed it today.
I didn't have a chance to look at it yet, I
It's
was,
just with reference to ordinance 10-19-1, trail utilization within the city. Within the city, this is what Ben has been compiling. Within the city boundary are both improved trails, paved or finished surface, and natural trails, dirt trails. These trails are maintained by the city and or volunteers for the use and enjoyment of residents. A, trails, improved trails. Trails in the park are for pedestrian use, cyclists, scooters, etc. 2, trails where there is a slope greater than 12% are for pedestrian use only. Dirt trail, natural trails. Dirt trails throughout the city will be limited to motorized vehicles access of less than 50 inches wide, pedestrian, cyclist, and equestrian. 2 of that, motorized use of trails will be limited to 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. and there'll be no parking on trailheads during the hours 11 to 6. I can send you all this. The disturbing the peace ordinance is (10:30 to 7), I think. I remember
At
what
least for the park, that's what we came up with.
Yeah.
Well, we did it, but
but,
somebody overrode it or whatever. I don't know if the city council voted on that sign for the
That
park.
was before my time, I have
Yeah,
no idea.
it was,
I've asked about it, they kinda just ignore me and,
So you're saying it was 11 to 7?
no, it's 10:30 to 7.
Oh,
The 5.1.5, disturbing the peace, talks about sports and other equipment activities between the hours of 10:30 PM and 7:00 AM, that they're prohibited.
my
Is
neighbors
that-
have construction going at 5:30 in the morning.
so that's citywide, that
That
ordinance,
ordinance,
not
yes.
just the park,
Correct.
okay,
This is an ordinance for everything, so
okay.
trails should, I think, be the same.
Well, you can just
Switch back.
respond to them to tell them
Yeah.
that.
And if we can get the city council to look at this as a whole, because the curfew for 16 and under is different hours than disturbing the peace.
okay.
If it could all be the same, or what we could recommend to the city council is that it all be the same, so it's in everybody's head that it's 10:30 to 7 or 10:30 to whatever.
You're not checking their
And they're not
driver's
thinking,
license.
what time am I supposed to, whatever, if it's all the same, it just makes it easy.
So we're working on, the city is working on a fine schedule for offenses, so your first offense, you'll be fined this much. We're also working on a contract with the county to be able to beef up and enforce things, because we haven't had a lot of teeth in being able to enforcement, but we were going to approve it last time, but we wanted our attorneys to review it first, because the contract came from Utah County. So our attorneys are making sure there's nothing in there that, isn't, that we're not okay with, and then we will approve that. So that will help give things some teeth, but right now, there's not a lot of enforcement, so it doesn't
Right.
really matter. I mean, it does matter, because we need to get it changed, but it's not gonna change
Enforcement.
the enforcement. The other thing is that they are, Carrie brought up, and
Yeah.
we used to have a neighborhood watch, and they're starting that again. So the Lunts, who are the ones that live straight across from the park, they actually asked to be a part of it, the other Lunts. And so, I just actually texted Carrie a minute ago, because I remember, but, yeah, so that's something that they're gonna start a neighborhood watch, where people are actually driving around, and there's always kind of
For the
somebody
whole city?
patrolling.
I asked Sherry about this, and I don't, maybe it's completely off topic, but what about outdoor lighting? Is that
That's
part
a
of,
different
that's a
ordinance,
different
yeah.
thing? Okay.
And as far as discussing like ordinance for trails, we have a trails subcommittee, we have a natural resources subcommittee. We now have a beautification subcommittee.
added the beautification.
Which will do down there by the roundabout.
So the roundabout, the mailboxes, and the city center.
Oh, that's nice.
That would be
Um,
nice.
And in the past, historically, what we've done, the people that are on these subcommittees meet, talk about stuff, and then make a presentation to the executive board. And a lot of times, a lot of those people overlap. And then we vote on what's been presented to us, and then it can go to city council. So that's what where the lighting ordinance has come from so far. And I'm happy to email everybody the lighting ordinance that we proposed back in September of 2021, I think it was. Which was too long, according to planning. So what I'm kind of thinking about to make it short and sweet, like what Ben's doing with public land use or city use for an ordinance, is just lumens per bulb, lumens per acre. And what was the other thing? And that your fixtures point down.
Down or not up.
Yeah, maximum lighting allowed, 25,000 lumens per net acre for commercial properties, meaning the city, and 5,000 lumens per acre for residential uses, light fixtures.
You know what's becoming a trend, because I've seen it advertised all the time?
The light,
The colored lights.
that's
And
across
down
the
at the-
canyon from us.
Oh, yeah, and down, you know, that they have on that on the big house at the bottom. That's becoming a trend, and I'm thinking that that is gonna be something
That's-
that we might need to be
Yeah,
concerned
that's what
about
I was,
in our dark sky city.
I have it too, up at the cul-de-sac, Taylor's put it in.
Mm.
But they don't, and again,
But if we,
not really limiting people, people aren't gonna have those on all the time.
no,
You've said
well,
otherwise.
it's all night.
Yeah, that after 10:30, you know, unless you're having a party or
Yeah.
whatever.
right,
And
Please turn
obviously,
them off.
Christmas time,
Right.
that's, people are gonna have lights. But you just have rainbow lights going all night.
yeah. That isn't very succinct with our idea of the nature, animals being able to just roam the city.
I think, the first thing you have to do with that is you gotta sell it to the community, and we've gotta get some education out there. I don't think you're gonna get an ordinance passed forcing it, if I'm being
You mean being
honest.
specific, don't have this and don't have that?
There's not anything already.
Well, there's a state law that prohibits it, so I don't think you'll get an ordinance passed where you can force people to do it. So I think it's gonna have to be sold, more as an idea,
Yeah.
that this is what we
Reason
want.
But I'm with you, Sherry, in that if they're gonna put it on their house, they're gonna put it on their house, but it doesn't mean you need to leave it on 24 hours.
Well,
All
it
night.
is, if you look up the definition of disturbing the peace, that would come under disturbing the peace.
It does.
Yeah.
Especially if it's shining into someone, and that's why I think, you know, if there was some way we could start educating, because if it's shining into other people's, if you've got a light, I mean, we can start with some of those things. If you've got a spotlight that's shining into your neighbor's
Oh,
house,
yeah,
that's not okay.
right.
And, you know, some of those things, like we've got to, I think you could get most of the community behind it if you could kind of sell it and start talking about what it is and, you know, the beauty of nature and our stars and all the things. But I don't see, just from talking about it and the response I'm getting, I don't see it getting passed as an ordinance. I don't
Wow.
see that it will be where you can force people to do it. We've got developers doing developments, and
Yep.
Summit Creek has a lot more lighting, and
But please, turn them off, not all night long. And gets into height of building two, the house that's been canceled, where the city put up no more construction on this house. I mean, I've thought about neighbors down there on Eagles Nest, you're putting lights up in the soffit, they're facing down, but they're gonna be right in your neighbor's windows.
Which
Because
house
that
is
house
that?
is so much higher. The one across from, Riley's. That, I hope the wood doesn't rot, because there's no real roof on it. A lot of it's just wood but that's a really tall house. I'm not talking anything about ordinance and
They
that it's
must
too
have-
tall or whatever. But I look at that from my bedroom window and I think, even pointing down, kind of going right into Larson's
Yeah.
house. So many watts per, so many lumens per bulb, so many lumens per acre, and the homes that already have a lot of light.
I'm gonna guess nobody knows how many lumens.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, now the ordinance says watts, which is old school technology. So the city council has agreed that they need to look at this ordinance anyway, so let's change it to lumens. So many lumens per bulb, so many lumens per acre, and everything faces down. And if we wanted to get more detailed than that, perhaps that could be in the construction standards. Part of your
Yeah,
permit package,
yeah.
that,
I thought it
Well,
already was.
it is, in Summit Creek, we have a stricter
you do.
lighting, stricter about that than the
In
city
your
of Woodland Hills,
CCNRs.
yeah. But Woodland Hills does have some restrictions, I think, on
Not-
that, right? Didn't we
not
discuss
much,
that?
yeah.
Not much?
I thought,
Yeah, but see, Summit Creek does.
So I need to check with Jody. I've talked to Corbett, would it be in opposition to IBC, I forget what the, International Building Code, and then there's something else.
Wayne brought up something that, yeah.
And Corbett said no, the city could do whatever they wanted, so I was gonna check with Jody to see if there is actually something in the building permit package that's given out to people about lighting. And dark sky, the International Dark Sky community would, if we were given that authorization, there would be funding available for people to retrofit their home, the ones that have the great big spots, if they so choose, to point them down. There is grant money available, so it's not like we're saying everybody has to change, and of course you're grandfathered in under the old thing, but how do you wanna do this? Do you, steps to finally get this moving? There is a woman in the city, she contacted me right after Jeff passed away, and I can't remember her name, but she has helped other communities become dark sky communities, and she's willing to help us.
Oh.
I mean, we know what the application is, we know what has to be in it, but she can actually help to drive it too. So, where do we wanna go to give ourselves an action plan with this? And the use of city land. Did you get any response about the general plan? Yeah, okay.
When we did that, a year ago, and we did that display and everything, everybody who came by voiced positive thoughts about the dark sky, and they thought that was kinda cool and nice. But in general, I'm kinda thinking there'll always be people that'll say, I don't care,
Don't tell me what to do.
Yeah, so, which is fine, but
You're not the boss.
But if we do nothing, then it's easy to get out of control. If we publicly just tout the good, positive things about a dark sky, I think then people will maybe hop on in their own.
Well, the reason I'm saying this is because when I brought it up in a city council meeting and the mayor said, he immediately said, I'm not for that. He said, we already are worried about crime. People need to be able to light up their properties. So in his mind, dark sky means no lights. And so, and I had to explain to him, no, it's about lumens, it's about lights burning down.
What's the other word? We're not calling dark sky. What's it called?
Well,
It is
dark
Well,
sky
it is dark
community.
sky, but
Is
we
it
were
dark
trying
sky?
to sell it under a softer name,
Yeah,
but I can't remember what that was, it was so long ago.
yeah, I get that, I see, that's
I'm
what I'm
just saying,
saying,
it's
we're gonna,
so there needs to be some
Yeah.
education.
yeah,
Because if you're just trying to get it passed, or you pass it without some,
yeah.
some positive things and some education and maybe even a flyer that goes out to everybody, if you don't lay that groundwork first, people aren't gonna.
Yeah, so I think that's the way to go, and I also think that, I just am so grateful we don't have street lighting, and I hope we never,
yeah.
ever have street lighting up here.
We're about to be really lit up at the bottom of the hill.
I know.
Now, what
Or
part of the
Salem.
bottom of the hill? Oh,
Salem.
Salem, so be on the other side of
Well, in
11.
Elkridge,
200.
just those lights keep getting this way, and Salem's keep getting this way.
Yeah.
And this is totally kinda off topic, but I drive by Elkridge and they have all those above head power
Yeah.
lines, and I'm just like,
Yeah,
so grateful we don't.
yeah, yeah, but, yeah, I think it's cool to look up and you see little lights at Woodland Hills and then all around it, just in the last, 2 years.
It's crazy.
Woo!
Well, I
Yeah.
think part of the committee, PTR's committee frustration is, and rightly so, like Brad has said, things just don't move.
Mm-hmm,
We talk about this stuff over and over and over.
yeah,
And anything having to do with ordinances comes down to enforcement. And personally, I don't wanna have to go to Brad and say, your lights are shining in my bathroom window, can you change the watts on the bulb? Kinda like neighborhood watch kind of thing, you're then putting,
Yeah.
citizens could be
Mhm.
doing this,
Yeah, we
and
don't
we're
want
trying
that.
to get them to do this now. That's why I'm thinking if there's something in the building code, about pointing down.
yeah,
You don't get your permit until somebody checks your property at nighttime.
And there's a lot of building
Or not your
going on.
permit, but your CO, sorry.
Yeah, there's a lot of building going on, and it seems like the time to do it is before people have put in their,
Otherwise, you're grandfathered in under the old rules.
and they don't wanna change, but if it's like, well, here it is, and you're.
So what, I guess what we need to get is a clear idea of exactly what is in what's already there, or is there nothing there much? In this,
Somebody needs to find out from Jody if there is anything right now in the building permit package or in procedures for the standards for building. Corbett didn't seem to think so. And
Can you do that? Can you ask her since
I
you're,
can ask her.
okay.
And you do have a copy of the current lighting ordinance?
I do.
Could you share that with us?
Yep.
That'd be awesome.
I'll
So-
share with you the current one, the one we proposed, that
Okay, yeah, that'd be
probably
good.
is like
Yeah, well,
29 pages.
No, that would be good.
Okay.
So I would say, it sounds like the way this kind of rounded about, especially what you've been sharing with us, is probably step one is buy-in, where you need to work on some form of education and getting people's initial buy-in to get some footwork as we work towards.
I think if you can get people to think, yeah, we wanna stay unique, we wanna be Woodland Hills, we wanna be different. You know, if we can sell that, I think a lot of them will do it voluntarily. And I'm not saying still don't write the ordinance or make adjustments, but I'm saying it'll be a lot easier go if we can get people sold on it.
Well, hardly anybody came to the fire expo. Is
This
it
year?
possible, I don't know, I didn't attend this year, but last year when we did it, is it possible to have a community meeting with this as a topic?
I mean, yeah, I can, again, that's a good question for Jody. I would ask her what's gonna be best, cause you know, we have, public hearings for different things
So public input,
and nobody comes.
they go.
About Woodland Hills Days, would it be a time to have a small booth to promote it there?
Yes, that would be good. They're gonna have booths again, they are gonna have those, so even to have a PTR booth maybe and just say, you know, this is what we're doing, these are, you know, our committees, or if you just wanna do dark
I
skies.
think I still have all the boards that we used for the fire expo.
Yeah, they have, you have all that stuff. Okay, dumb question, when is Woodland Hills Day?
The second weekend in September, cause the first weekend is Labor Day, so it's the second weekend, so it's like I can look at my calendar really quick and I can tell.
That's fine, second weekend is good.
I know, but I promise I can get there really quick. It's the 9th and 10th of September. And I
Brad, you
can,
brought up a good point, sorry Janet, about me sharing this. What's the committee's or the executive board's position on, do we wanna share this with all 17 of us? Or do we just wanna share it amongst ourselves?
Which portion, sorry, the current discussion, or are you saying in general, what we're
In
working towards?
well, in general, but yeah, you bringing up about me sharing, because I have the information.
Oh,
Do I
Okay.
share it with the entire 17
I
of us?
think we should still, just because like I met, Trisha, I
Trish
met
Williams?
her and
Yeah.
her husband just at the top of Switchbacks today. And I was telling them about some of the new things that we've been discussing and my involvement now and everything, and I was talking to her about trying to get more of the
Yeah.
committee more involved, and they really liked the ideas that I was discussing, and I had mentioned like the group meeting we were gonna discuss today and things like that, and they're like, yeah, it would probably make us a lot more engaged. So I think right now what I'd like to see is if we continue the communication, we're not getting much response from it, but at least it's keeping people in the know, because she says, I read all the emails that I get, so she is keeping informed.
Okay.
And I don't believe that sharing these things right now I don't think either of these are hot topics enough that are gonna cause unnecessary
I
drama.
don't see a reason why not to.
So I think it would be best to just keep everybody as involved as possible, and I think as we continue to progress, I think it's gonna kind of bring back more interest to supporting what we're doing.
Yeah, okay.
so is the dark sky part of the PTR thing, or is it separate, or?
It's like a
It's a
subcommittee.
subcommittee
Subcommittee,
under
okay.
natural resources.
Okay.
But the hope is, and that's why like things go to planning, the hope is that as it comes up through the committees, it gets refined and, you know what I mean, made more, that's something that can go through and you add and you know, you work through it, and then by the time it gets to city council, hopefully it's ready to be approved.
Well, and I think it's important too that we verify information that's given to us. When this ordinance, the proposed ordinance, was presented to planning, going through them first, way back when, then I got an email saying, oh, there's a new state ordinance that says that a city cannot clarify lumens or how many lumens per acre, or can't tell the citizens what to do. I'm like, oh, would you send me that ordinance? Or, yeah, the state ordinance and the state code. And that was for the general plan, that you couldn't classify the degree of lighting, didn't have anything to do with city ordinances. It's just for the general plan, so let's
And
do
then
our homework.
cities can more or less do what they want to on that, is that what you're saying?
For an ordinance,
For an
yes.
ordinance, yeah,
For
okay.
a general plan.
Yeah, okay, gotcha.
And ordinances trump general plan, yes, great. Anything else on? Okay, plat map review, Janet, what are we gonna do here? How do you want to handle
Let's
this?
do the others and then we'll work on this. Can we
Okay.
skip it? Can we put it at the end?
Yep.
And that way we'll just work on
Okay.
it, look at it.
Brad, you wanna talk about, group me and your email to us?
Sure.
Can we put that under other business?
Sure. In short, I believe it's you, Janet, who suggested it. I wasn't familiar with this app until I looked into it, and it seems, and I've actually now, it's came up quite a bit in the last month and different things I've been part of, and it's been discussed, it's positives. So, it seems like it's the right platform to do what we want. It's more of just a chat platform, and I think it would be maybe a little bit more convenient for people to engage than maybe flooding everybody's email boxes. You know, maybe we start to bring the emails to more pertinent information, and then we continue the dialogues within the group me area. And from my understanding, again, I haven't set up the full group, or I did set up a group, but I haven't obviously had anybody in it. So, but we should be able to have different dialogues on different topics that we're at, and people can kind of jump in between at their own leisure to be brought up to speed on those things. And I think that'd be a great opportunity, so that way when we are discussing different things, you know, you're very active, getting a lot of things done. So if you do have something that you've learned, you've accomplished, you just throw it in there, people at their will can be brought up to speed, and then they can either give their input, or it could be, I think it's gonna be a great way to gather a lot more support and a lot more activity from other members, so.
And I would, so if you wanna be in charge, are
Okay.
you gonna be in charge? Cause you
Sure.
created the
Yeah,
group.
you have to be a, what do they call it?
An admin, but then you can invite everybody. I think it would be good to have maybe a sub one that's just the executive, maybe have one that's everybody, and then have a sub one that's just the executive. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm trying to look for my district.
Do you
one.
have all of our numbers?
I do not have everybody's numbers, and that's actually one of the topics that kind of goes inside with this. I don't know if that's something,
Yeah, very
I know
good.
Sherry, you've been at the helm for so long, and then now Michelle's helping out. I don't know if anybody has everybody's contact information. If not, I mean, I'm happy to start trying to gather it, or we could do it
It was,
collectively.
yeah, it's like the next thing on the agenda, so.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
I
so
didn't
it
look at
does, it does say in the group me who it's from.
Yeah,
Mhm.
My only concern with group me is sometimes I don't get the whole thing. It seems like, and I'm not an administrator, so I don't know,
Oh,
but
is
I
it
get
the
from,
thing that
yeah, I get
comes in?
page one, page
Oh,
two,
yeah.
page three, sometimes I don't get page one. You're
Okay.
only allowed so many characters, maybe?
it's
For-
just more for chat. If you
It-
need
it
something
is,
more
yeah.
longer, you do the
Yeah, I don't
email.
think
It's
it would
not
work
for a document,
No.
No.
Okay.
It's like a text is all.
Yeah, it's just a group of it's just a, but I did attach the picture of the bear that was on Skylight to our group
Oh,
meeting.
yes, I saw
Bummer,
that, oh my gosh, and that was in the
bears
group
come
meet?
to our house.
I know, I've never seen one.
Put out waters.
Never here. I've seen lots of bears.
So if you'll be the administrator of that, I can get you, Michelle's got all the email addresses.
And I know there's some discrepancies on the emails and stuff, well, at least Byron Adams, for example, was
Yeah,
one
I
that
had
we were
two
sending
for
to the
him,
wrong
and
one.
then I just like guessed.
So, I do have the correct one, if I'll make sure I send that to you,
Yeah.
so,
So send out an email
and then
and
ask
ask
for a
everybody,
response.
and ask for a response and ask for them to confirm their phone number and their email address.
Okay.
And say, is this the email you would prefer, or would you like it sent to a different email?
So, yeah, explain that we're doing the group me.
Okay,
Nobody responded that they didn't want to be. Was there 17, you said?
I think so. Well, there used to be, 2 of them are college students, and we've kind of dropped them off the list.
Okay, you did
because-
drop them off the list.
So the other months, I asked them if they wanted to be, I said, cause they had some ideas, and I said, you should come join PTR, and I got the thumbs up, so.
Okay.
The other months, I'll reach out to him and get his contact info and ask him again, would you like to join and like help with something? And then I'll send it to you.
Well, I think come January or December, I can't remember when we were really formed, almost 2 years ago. The tenure was 2 years, so a lot of the people that aren't participating, unless they quote re-up, kind of drop off naturally.
Well, and it was official, but it wasn't like set up, like now we have a budget and you know, there's a committee and all those things, and where it, you know, maybe it was
More loose.
more loose before, people drop off. But if you're more organized and it feels like you're moving forward, people will re-engage, I think, and we can get more people involved.
agree.
Do you want our phone numbers and things right now? Just,
Sure, if it's,
Because we're
I mean,
here.
I'll get it for you right at the end if you don't mind.
okay,
We'll just start it on this.
And then,
Perfect.
okay, perfect.
Send it around.
Yeah, that works perfect.
So what do you want, emails?
Email and phone number, name,
Email, phone number, I would prefer address as well, just so I think it's important in a small community to kind of know where each person's kind of is, to know what their impact and their decisions comes from, you know, like Sherry's viewpoint on the trail is a little bit more impacted because she's backed up to it versus somebody else who's in another area. So I think that would be important for us. I don't plan on, you know, bugging anybody's address for that, and everybody, it's such a small community, we could quickly find it, but
we're gonna start.
you know, we could obviously quickly find it anyway, but at minimum, I think, you know, email and phone number would be great. And then with that, so that kind of covers the group me. Would that be okay to move forward to the contact information? One of the other suggestions that I had there is, do we think that it'd be a good idea to have maybe a centralized Google email to where it's a forwarding email? So say they email Woodland Hills PTR committee at gmail.com. It automatically sends an email to you and I and to our direct emails. And the reason this could also be a positive is so it gives us just an official place and to contact our committee. It'll automatically go to us as the chairs. And the other thing is it allows us to access all the tools of Gmail, which can fill the void of GroupMe if it's not good for sharing documents and things like that. We can put the documents in this source here, where then we could share a link directly to these documents that can always go back.
Let's see if I can
So-
make it fly.
That sounds good to me. I do need to
Because you
let
can
you
put it on the
know.
city website.
Correct,
Yeah.
that way we don't
Yeah,
have that
that's
personal
what I
ones
was
up there, we
thinking.
could just have that and it will automatically send us, and then what's great about it is if
Kind of like yours.
if another chairman
Hi,
in
Dennis.
the future comes or whatever, we need to pass the reins, it's just an easy update, so.
Okay.
Do you need help with any, you good, yeah?
He's on
Dennis
the
is part of our
He's
committee.
here, I know, well, he was,
Didn't it start at 8?
he was lurking out there,
Yes.
that's why I'm like, come on in.
Good to see you, Dennis. How are you?
Okay.
You can,
Good. How did you can sit right over here if you like.
this way the
Here.
meeting won't seem really long to you then.
Dennis, do you know Brad?
Nope, I don't believe I met him. Hello, good to meet you.
Glad to meet you.
Brad Cruffle.
Okay, well, we were talking about the Gmail. So
Mhm.
that's not gonna be a separate email account that we have to keep track of, because I don't.
No, so what it will do is I can set it up to where it just be an automatic forwarder, it doesn't even store any of the emails in there, and what it'll do is it'll just literally forward it to us, and then it will store the emails in there, so we can always go back to reference whoever sent something, but it'll automatically be marked as unread and just send copies to us.
Okay, because on the, city website, Greg should have been the point of contact,
Okay.
but because he wasn't around,
Mhm.
they couldn't put two on.
Okay.
That's how I got on
Gotcha.
as contact. I don't know if that's changed, I can ask Jody that.
Or you could just look, you could just log in and look too.
Would that enable, can you set this up so if we can't on the city website have more than one contact, that they go to you and I, or they go
That's what
to
he's saying.
the
Yeah.
executive committee?
So
Okay.
that email address, I can have it forwarded to whoever we want. If we want to do the entire
Okay.
executive committee, we could do that. If we want to just do you and I as the chair and then we filter the emails from there, we
Okay.
could set it up however we'd like.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
but we could just do a
Yeah,
generalized
we're not
email,
necessarily
Woodland
just doing
Hills,
that.
PTRcommittee@gmail.com, and then I can set that all up, and then like I said, it will give us access to the Google Suites things, which I think will also help us with storing documents. Like I think it would be a good place for the executive committee to store, say, all this contact information for the committee, who's active, when people are off, we can update it and keep everything there. So that way, as we do continue to progress and years go and people come and go, it's just information that you could just go, here's the password to it, and here's all the information.
Yeah, we're ready to go. So how does the committee feel about, do you want information from the residents disseminated directly to you? Or do you want Brad and I to filter as co-chairs of the committee?
Yes, that's my vote.
It goes to you too, and you can forward it if you feel like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you
If
guys
it's
just
important, you
decide
can forward it
on-
to everybody else.
Yeah.
If it's somebody saying, why did you cut those trees down on the trail? Then you don't need to forward, I mean, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
like,
Or if it's 50 page. Yeah. Okay, shows your,
Great. So Brad,
Um,
you've got that, right?
I got that.
Okay, was there anything else on that, Brad?
I believe that covers it, so we'll just get the contact information, I'll start to store it in that, I'll get this all set up and, report on it and
Okay.
go from there.
so just the other business is that, they did ask that we do the beautification committee again. We talked about it a little bit, but, so Sherry was listening and she messaged us and said,
Yeah,
yeah,
sorry,
yeah,
I spoke for the committee.
yeah, cause they said, could it be under PTR and be a subcommittee? And
City
Sherry
council.
chimed in and said, yes, so she volunteered all of you.
Okay, so,
Well, no, I didn't volunteer all of you. I went out and sought help from
She did.
people that are flora and fauna people and know what grows in Woodland Hills, and so far there's 3 people that are willing to
oh, great.
beautify down there.
So the
So we
idea
don't have
is,
to be involved,
yeah,
but
Well, and youth
other people
groups
will
could
be.
participate and we.
yeah, you can create service projects, all kinds of good
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
Like the regular mowing and stuff, like that's not, that's taken care of, there's employees that do that, but what the beautification is like the roundabout, the bushes have gotten scraggly and it needs, you know, it
and
needs
we
some
need some
color and
selection
it
of
needs.
sustainable though, you know, some maybe drought tolerant things or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There is water there, isn't there?
yeah, there's water there.
Okay.
But, so we just need to, like, the trees need trimmed back a little bit and it just needs some love.
And so maybe purple sage and.
Yeah, I was thinking some of
yarrow and-
that purple sage would be pretty in there, give it some
Grasses.
color. So just some stuff like that. And the city, you know, they put in the grass, but they probably could use. So I made sure, because we have a limited budget for PTR, I made sure, I said, okay, but this is not coming out of PTR's small little budget. It needs to come out of maintenance for the city, and they said that they would
Okay.
do that. So,
Do you know, that probably is a good idea, Michelle, to do more of a naturescape, xeriscape type thing.
What's the
Thinking
water?
conservative
Do you
pretty
guys
and
what's-
have
colorful.
anybody in Summit Creek that is really xeriscaped when they landscaped?
Not completely,
Yeah,
but,
okay.
but it's encouraged that so much of your property has to be left natural,
Okay.
but, no. So is that, the water that comes there, is that, a sprinkler system or drip system, do you know? Like,
I
I'm
don't
just
know,
curious,
we'd have to
'cause
look.
that stuff like that matters, you know,
yeah,
I don't know much
that's
about
what the committee will have to,
figure that out.
they're gonna have to go and inspect and drop a plan and make,
Well,
you
there
know,
would be big, you know, pretty boulders and, I mean, it would,
Yeah.
it'll have to be,
That are much more.
have to be Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And we got cones, cause I saw some coming in.
Yeah, it just
So
needs
I'd
a
like to be
facelift.
protected while I'm down there.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
all right, so then we have the map. And
Julie, could I add one thing?
yes,
That actually it was Laurie, Liz and Bee's suggestion. Remember when we had the art tour?
yeah, I went on it.
Yes, it was so great, and Dennis's wife Laurie was one of the artists.
Oh.
Anyway,
Yeah, it was really great.
it was her
was
suggestion,
really great.
but she doesn't wanna be on the committee or do it. She wondered about, we have so many great artists in our community. If there was an arts council, and even if it was only once a year, that, little art.
I would like to see them do it again for Woodland Hills Days.
Yes.
So, instead of like parade of homes, do like a parade of art kind of a thing. I think it would be awesome.
Anyway.
But they just did it, so I don't know if they want
Right.
it. It was a lot of work for the
Yeah, it
artists.
probably wouldn't work, but artists could, they're about it for it once a year.
I know it's a lot of work, and they turn their house inside out and everything for it, so.
Well, is there any way we could display it at the park
Well,
without the
and-
sun being on it, or?
No,
And she was saying even more than that, like, we have musicians, we have,
mhm.
there could be a dance, there can be, arts are more than just artists.
Easel, yeah.
Right, and that, maybe there's a concert in the park, or.
I'd actually like to start that in Payson.
Yeah.
Payson, they have a great, we talked about this already, but they have a great tradition of on Sunday night during the
Yeah.
summer, the city band plays every Sunday night in the park. Have people come, they bring their
Very
chairs,
cute.
and they hang out, and then food trucks come, and whatever, and it's a really good, my kids grew up doing that, I loved it. It would be fun to have, probably not every Sunday night, but maybe the first of the month, or the
Yeah.
last one of the month, or whatever, just once a month have, one time you could have cowboy poetry, and another time you could have
Yes.
music. I think that would be fun. That's something I would like to see make happen.
Yeah, even if you just did it the first June, July, and August, just 3 months in the summer or something like that.
Or you could even, you could do, even get September
Or
in there.
September, yeah, just like
A
4
movie
months
in the
or.
park,
Yeah.
with a
Yeah.
big-
I'd love to have music and have bands and,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because that lends itself to people still being able to mull around and visit
That's true.
with each other and build community, which I think would be really good. If movies are great, but you have to kind of
Yeah,
sit and
that's
be
true.
quiet.
Yeah.
So I'd like something that's music, that's bands or whatever, and that we could, kind of do some building of the community.
And perhaps around dark sky, the Perseus meteor shower, the blue moon.
Right.
We gather in the park, we have dinner before noon or whatever, and try
That
to
would be
pull
fun.
dark sky into it.
Anyway, okay.
I like it. No, you're good. So, planning and zoning, they're redoing the master plan this time. And one of the things that they wanted us to do, and can I steal your table?
Do you guys all know where to get the general plan?
Let's put these two big
I
ends together.
I use the link
You
again, I
got it?
have seen it, but it's pretty, if you haven't read the
Big
deal,
one,
I'd be happy
big
to
end.
forward it.
So they want us to identify, places where if we want additional trails, if we want, so you guys all have to get up out of your chair. So if we want, even just a little drive to a lookout, or, so I went up to the county. The green, these are the ones that are owned by the city. So some of the roads, they should all be green, but there's some issues I guess they're working on with the county, but, you can see, this is the park, right? This is the mitigation. Not sure what those two are.
Those are that's mitigation,
The
they're
other-
settling tank, there's a big water settling tank right there. And those two pieces of property, and that's all chained off, and they don't want anybody to go up there.
Yep.
It's a big
And that's
hole,
a
basically.
real steep canyon right there.
Yeah, I had them print the topography on there so we could tell. So this is available, so we could do something with this, and the city wants us to utilize any open space.
What's this? Is this where the fire road, or is that the fire road?
Yeah, that's Eagle's Nest.
This
Yeah,
is
that
really
should, yeah, I think
steep,
that's your emergency exit.
Right there.
And yes, it is.
and I think this guy, it's either this one or this one, is not owned by Summit Creek. This is private, so in order to access any of this, I'd have to get permission from somebody.
Oh.
We'd have to
Yeah,
have
some of
easement.
the, quite a bit of these are not.
Yeah, is Summit Creek taking over this area here?
Well,
No.
they had some lots up here,
Oh,
but that,
But I
okay.
think they were more,
So this area is.
Well, they're still in the county plat, it's owned by, I'm gonna say Summit Creek, but that's not the
yeah,
official
but I
Or-
don't,
or it's called,
That camera angle is for sure.
I
Are there
know.
any easements between any of these lots, or would they show on this, or?
No, but I have all the plats. So the problem is,
Where do we want to
This
start?
actually is the
Which
road right
section of the
there.
city?
yeah.
so here's the trick. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
There are 151 plats in Woodland Hills. This one is the most recent. The problem is a lot of people will just take their 5 acres and make 4 lots or 2 lots or 5 lots. And so we have all these plats. These show easements. We don't care about these though, really, because honestly, these are utility easements, so.
Well, the only easements that I know of, and I've kind of looked at everything, is up here by where we are, down this side of Deep Forest Circle to where the easement is for Taylor's property to go and access the trail. There's a 15 or 10, I think it's 15-foot easement all the way down Deep Forest Circle, and then it
Just gonna
comes
grab my phone
down
and look
Eagle's
these up.
Nest
Oh, you've got it.
and goes down Grizzly to hit the park. And I think it was Don Meekum's intent that somehow,
that's the
This
access to
connected,
the trail.
yeah. And there is a horse trail easement behind Wayne Franzen's house, he told me. But this is the only trail easement that I know of that's in the city, without looking at every single one of those. Runs down Deep Forest, starts at the top here, see this little
Right,
line?
okay.
That's the easement that the city has for pedestrian and
Where
motor
the-
tank
where
access.
the Taylor's house?
Taylors are right here.
Okay.
And it comes down here, goes all the way down Deep Forest, and then heads up Eagle's Nest, goes over to
This-
Grizzly, and comes down to the park. 15 feet, so there's an easement on all these pieces of property.
Well, every property has, it's 12 to 15, it depends on the property, from the edge of the road, to, it belongs to the city, like that's a city easement, so every property's got that,
Well, but this specifically says trail easement
okay?
on it.
That's fine that they're calling low, or,
So that's what we wanna look
Stop
at
through
to
now.
see,
Yeah, well, that's the old name,
because the current general
because there
plan,
wasn't even a road.
Janet, where are you?
yeah, and yeah, it's on some of the.
I'm right here.
Okay.
GPS.
The
or
current
sometimes
general
it's
plan
different.
shows trails for Woodland Hills all back behind here. And they run through people's property.
Yes,
And there is no easement.
and that was one of the things that I heard about the very most when I was running, was a lot of complaints about that. You need to change that. So, I know this isn't a one and done, but I wanted everyone's input. It's too much for one person to try and figure out, but I have all the plats. There just was no easy way to do it. And then I have another map, but so one isn't working, and then one will be like a, kind of a
What
final.
do these mean? These little boxes.
He's got a legend. City-owned, private, and the boundary line. The red is the boundary line, I'm not sure what.
Because according to the county I saw, this is all city-owned, about 5 acres back there from the water tanks.
Yeah, so
I think this triangle in here,
I think this is all
one's
city.
City of Woodland Hills
The dotted.
It's town.
Yeah, that's
That
the
means
one
the
that's
city.
close on that.
Don't they own all these streets?
Well, it's just the way the county, because some of them, they're showing them privately owned, but they're not.
Northern Slopes is all back here,
Yeah, this is Northern Slopes.
which is Summit Creek.
Yeah, we don't wanna talk about that.
This is Summit Creek?
Yeah, they're gonna build up there.
Well, they're gonna have a hard time with access if they.
Cause I thought that belongs to Lower Canyon,
Mm-mm.
those people.
Nope.
Huh.
They own all that kind of surrounding our city now, right?
But
Even from behind Sky
this,
Lake.
well, it's more over here.
Yeah, it's
They-
all this.
it's
Because
this.
at least these Lower Canyon.
Yeah, it's this
Yeah,
that
that's
they
Oak
own.
Canyon, it's this. is what she-
Oh,
It's over
okay,
here.
cause I was like, that's.
No, it's this one.
That, who owns this?
Where's
Summit.
the water
Oh, do
tank?
they?
It's above Brown Hollow.
Yeah.
So here's Pine View,
Well,
Broad Hollow. So I live,
Oh, so
This is me.
Green Forest.
yep, this is me.
Yeah, Northern Slopes is all back here.
So this is the water tanks right here. So this is city too, so this is great.
where's that new house
I'm gonna go back
that's
to
being
this.
built?
Where's Skylink?
Well, this is the Taylors.
Oh, yeah. I know
The new
Taylor's,
house is.
The one
There's
that's
another
the
house?
village.
Yes, the one where they put their fire hydrant on city property.
Where's the Davis property? Because that just sold and it's in, I mean,
Davis
isn't that-
property would be
That's
down
over.
this way.
It's.
No, it's over here. Yeah.
Is it in Woodland Hills now too?
No, it's
in
not.
Salem.
It's in Salem.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a,
That's been in Salem for a while. That's been a while.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah. We don't own that.
Because they'll just pack houses in.
They're going to.
And,
That's
It's
already-
It's sold to a
Lights.
developer.
Been
Uh-huh.
sold to a developer.
oh, that's the most beautiful piece of property.
Yep, it's been
that was sold to a developer?
Yes.
Do you know who it was?
They call themselves, Treehouse Park. I think it's what they're calling the community, to the
Well, I hope
community.
this is not the person that talked to me at the Salem City Council meeting, because he was the developer that developed a piece of property in Warren when I lived there. It's really ugly.
Is
It's
this
center-
one,
and it went
Brad, is
bankrupt.
this one city too, and it just
He left
didn't
the
print
city
green?
holding the bag.
Where are we?
This,
Here's
see
Broad
this
Hollow.
dotted?
Is Summit Creek in between.
I would think that's.
I think this is city, will you check? Can you look, since you've got it up on your phone?
Oh, this is Summit.
See, I think the dotted, I think first, when he printed them, these ones didn't, he missed them. Cause he shaded them for me, so he must have
That's
missed it.
behind our
Or is this the
house.
HOA for Broad Hollow?
No, cause Broad Hollow's,
No, that's over here. I'm thinking Lower Canyon, this is all HOA over in here.
Right, yeah.
here, let's not crunch.
So,
So this is called Broad Hollow?
Oh, well, that's the canyon, yeah.
Wow.
And that's the one that is causing all the problems. If you look up on the mountain, that's the tight boulder, the slide.
Yeah, that's.
So Broad Hollow is the
landscape, or
problem.
the landslide.
Yeah, that's what's causing all that.
That's where I live right there.
See how it goes. Yeah, but look at all those houses in between you.
Yeah.
They might end up on your back lawn.
So this is above me, but the way the curve goes, it all goes.
well, don't look at the earthquake map either, you don't want.
You know, I've always wished there was a path from here up through here.
Well, we don't have much to work with in
But,
terms of
See,
future.
you've got, there's no easement from here.
But
Is this
my
something-
question is, and this is what I can go and look up,
Look.
is figure out, cause I just got these this afternoon finally, but I can find out where, who owns some of those.
So what are we trying to establish here? What the
This
city?
is City of Woodland.
No, we're trying to just look for places to have another park.
This is
Oh,
City of
park.
Oh,
Woodland.
and
Or
there's
trails.
trails.
Oh,
Or trails, is that city too?
Yes.
Awesome. I think you forgot to shade those ones.
So. a
You're gonna run off the
benefit-
table there.
Yeah, if there's any way we could do a trail here, a benefit, would, I think the city would get behind this, because they've talked to me about they wanna come up here and get the trees and dead stuff up, pull it out of here. This is
Well,
a
that-
real concern to them, is this canyon here, because it's bad fire hazard.
City of Woodland Hills, and this is Town of Woodland Hills, this lot as well, right next to it, so.
Okay, highlight that too.
So,
And then this
How
is,
far does it go?
nobody lives here.
this plat shows.
They're
it's
supposed to be building a house
down,
here, but
and then it's-
What's all this?
that's all owned by the partnership. This is
But that's the
Ted,
Hanks,
yeah,
this
this
is
is
the
Hanks.
Hanks property.
So this is what borders right up
See,
to
this
their,
is
their
good.
property.
So
Between
this
all
is
of us,
just
we all know a
state
little bit,
center.
enough to figure it out.
That's-
Well, I know
Is
this is
that
my
what we know?
backyard and I would hate it if they put a bunch of trails in there.
It would just be one, but yes, I.
Well,
get
there's
you.
already one, and.
So on that meeting, was there anything on that last meeting, because I couldn't go to, when they talked about Summit Creek? I saw it was on the, did you see that?
Oh, it was just the development agreement. And it was just an update on the development agreement, that the attorneys have all reviewed it, that between Woodland Hills and Summit Creek, they've come to a kind of a general consensus. Both sides, there was some give and take on both sides, and they think both sides now are good, like they've come to a good place, and so
So
they're.
what were they giving and taking about?
I'm not 100%.
They didn't really say.
They didn't really say.
Well, that's helpful. So,
It
sorry,
was-
that
it
was
was
sarcastic,
just-
no.
No, it was just, Summit Creek wanted to do certain things, and Woodland Hills said, well, wait a minute, like that, this is how this affects us, and
Mhm.
so there was, I don't know, because I didn't sit in on all the meetings with the attorneys. This one, is this city?
So this one says it's Woodland Hills / 248 and an LLC.
Choke cherry, so I don't know what.
Oh, that's what somebody's trying to develop, or has
Okay.
been trying to develop. It's privately owned.
Oh, yeah, that's right, I've seen that, yeah, I know, yeah.
So my question is, so whose are these?
this
I
was
would guess-
owned by the Helveys,
Yeah, I would
and
guess those
it's
are all
up for
private.
sale right now.
It's a lot,
Yes, it's a big lot. I live here, so
okay.
it goes from here to here.
Dennis, you should buy that.
Yeah, Dennis. And just leave it.
Yeah,
I
just
agree.
don't do it.
Let's buy it and just let it sit.
Is it the same here, is it someone else?
That's
Probably.
gotta be a
It's,
private.
this is, no, this is, somebody owns this, and they're trying to get this placed in two
Subdivided.
lots, so they can put one home in the center, which would really be nice. I'm all for that.
Looks like they already accomplished it on this plot map, it's showing it as 2 lots.
Yeah, this is
Sure,
two
that's
lots,
good.
and they wanna.
Make it be one?
They wanna turn it into one lot. So
Okay.
they're working with the county and the city right now to do that. And then they'll
It should
build
be
right
one.
there in the middle.
There's this random lot there.
I'm sure, I would guess
That's
those are
spring.
all just,
People, probably.
yeah,
This one's a city, but
that's
it's
where
the.
we are.
Yep. So, but what is this one?
So that one.
Oh, I know what that one is. I actually know this one. So this is the rights, this is the rights, right here. And then this is this is somebody else, and he's gonna build. And he's gonna have to put the road through though. So it literally splits right down the middle of the road, so I do know that one.
So
Because
they're gonna
private.
put this road.
Cause I live right here, so I've asked about this one, so I do know what that one
Should
is.
we put any form of marking once we confirm they are private, just so we know?
We
Should
could
we
put a
some red on
P.
them or something?
I could
Yeah.
put a P, do you want me to, this one we
Yeah.
know, right?
Yep. And that one as well.
So
This
private.
one's private.
This one here, Springs private as well, just confirmed.
Okay. We got colors, so that's helpful.
Yeah, there you go, you're prepared.
Okay, so for each plat, how are we going to identify this?
I don't know that we're not gonna do probably each plat. I think I printed them initially, but it's too hard, and most of those are just utility easements, which every single property has. So I don't think you wanna go and have to mark every single property's utility easement.
No, just the
I think what you wanna do is,
specific easements, like trail or.
right, so
or
probably
equestrian.
anybody on the edge, so what we need to do is find, in the plats, maybe find these ones and see if there's any easements. Does that make sense? I think it's gonna be the edge properties, probably. I don't see there being easements for trails in here in the middle of it, so I think if we can go through and find
Oh, but there was up here.
a little section.
But nobody's gonna actually
But Wayne will know those things too, and he can,
go
Well, that's what I
forward with
mean,
it.
Wayne wants to know that, where there currently are trail easements.
Well, that's why we're all here, trying to figure it out.
What's really interesting is they built a fire road right behind here with bulldozer, all the way
They made a fire
over
break,
there.
didn't they?
For a
Yeah.
fire break, yeah. Some of it went into, I think went through his property. But that would have been a nice,
Yeah, Wilkes, I think it was Wilkes.
Well,
They
the
went
city-
in
nice
into-
place for a trail,
Well,
but they
couldn't-
would want
The city has to own over in Maple Canyon, that's where their water is, and they have their road and the water tanks.
Can you not make,
That's
you can,
right, in
I mean,
here.
I know in other states, you can use a fire break road for a trail. Can you hear?
A lot of them are partially on private property.
And it's
I
all
mean, they
said,
went right down
Yeah.
the whole back of our property.
The what?
They went right down, we lost over 300 trees.
With the,
Yeah.
for the fire break?
You
Why
lost a
they-
lot of trees.
Why they didn't use the trail, I don't know, which is just right above them.
Yeah.
But that's in the fire plan.
Oh, that was already in the fire plan? Oh. Okay, so we're trying
It's
to,
not up to
so
the city.
park-wise, it doesn't look like there's any, what, this space for park? These spaces for a park? Are we needing to find a place for park or
There,
but
trails?
that's
Both,
not
either.
No, that's
that's
not.
not a
Not,
problem.
and not like a
No.
formal park, but what they're asking is there somewhere, they're asking us to help identify, is there somewhere that we could make a little trail to a lookout, and you could look out over the valley, or is there space, is there any land available anywhere where we could make something like that? Like,
I think you're right.
I think
The total logical place
is around the edge.
Perimeter.
And
to do this.
And I mean, and I'm, like I say, we may have to work on this again, I don't know how much more time we have, but I'd like to, I'm gonna meet with Wayne, I'm gonna meet with, but right now, the master plan, it goes through people's properties, the proposed trail, and it,
Yeah,
This
nobody's
is,
gonna want that.
this is really hard, this is steep
Isn't
here.
that pretty steep?
But there's a road that came back through here, you can see it, and this is so beautiful here.
It's really pretty,
There
and
is
that's
you
to
can
the
walk
water
through here.
tanks for Woodland Hills. I mean, that's Woodland Hills property, it has to.
That's a great lookout.
Well, the water tank's down here, but this is up on the side of the hill, and it goes back in here. We had somebody went up there and make a fire.
This is technically
A
all
few years
northern
ago.
slopes, just so you're aware.
This is what?
This is all northern slopes. This is
This is-
actually out of our, but
Well,
that's
this
owned
is
by
northern
slopes. Yep.
yep, this is also,
But
they
the
bought it.
people that live here, they do not like people walking on that road back here on their property.
Okay, well, can we just cycle
Oh.
this?
Okay, Maple Canyon,
Yes.
so that's where,
So this is low,
that's
this is
where
a
the water
canyon.
tanks
This is
are.
so
Yeah,
small.
and this is up high.
All the water tanks
This
are up
is
here,
where-
there's
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 one,
one down here for,
yeah, there's that one.
this,
But
Salem
there's
and
still,
Woodland Hills.
Is it 10?
it's got very.
But you can right here.
It's really small.
Yeah.
You like a good eyesight, and that's,
Yeah, you can
I'd
go
say that
clear
it's
around
a
your
I
buffer.
think it's 10-foot easement, trail easement is what it claims.
So it is
And there's a
really
bike-
tiny on here,
bike
they're hard to see.
I know,
There's a what?
This is-
Like?
Well, this is the trail easement, and then the other
Like
cloud
mountain
is gonna
bike,
show
yeah.
how it goes
This
further
is
down the
really
road.
steep from here.
that's why I got the big one, but you have to,
So
so
let's mark on,
Okay.
we know where one is, where is the, where am I?
what color do you wanna use? Let's pick a color.
See if the orange contrast is, yeah.
Is that deep forest?
Deep forest.
Can't we stop the recording? And nobody's seen anything but my phone. Is this deep forest?
No. Yeah,
Yeah, it runs down this side.
here,
Just
Just
don't
push it.
mess up, Sherry. Yeah. Just kidding.
No, it's good, we can see it.
we could do yellow, cause that orange is kinda toast, but.
Where's Grizzly? That's where you got 10-foot trails.
Except that's Iverson's.
This is coming up as Woodland Hills City right here.
Yeah,
Oh, that's Iverson's.
Is
Yeah.
this part of the park?
yeah, it is.
Yeah, this is the shoot.
Yeah, sorry.
So that one we know about. It's finding, I'm not kidding you, the writing is so
I know.
small. So I'm gonna need a magnifier glass too. I don't mind going through some of these with help, if anybody wants to help, and
I can help you. Do you wanna, like take it home after tonight and do some marking and then?
yeah, what I could do is mark the pages that have any other easement other than utility.
Just if it's,
Big magnifying
I know, but this was $30. There's no way I could do this 151 times. I'm sorry.
So would it be best if we start by all the plots that are surrounded by public, or our land, correct? So
Yeah.
probably check all these plots, see if there's any easements that are available that would give access to any of these.
Well, and like, I know these are private, cause I already.
Yeah, that'd be.
So if there's an easement from here to here, would there also be an easement all the way along, or not necessarily, do you think?
Where are you again, Janet? Show me where you are.
That's
Technically,
city
but-
property, right,
Yeah.
but
Okay,
it's,
so I know all
Steep
of this
side.
back here has no
Yeah,
easement.
but just
and
for
I'm happy to
example,
check.
I'm just
Right.
wondering, like, you know, if it's for one or two properties, is it like for a whole thing? I mean, what, cause what's.
no, it's
Really-
just
Yeah,
this.
it depends, yeah. So
But we don't
sometimes,
know, we need to look it up.
Okay.
Well, that drops off really
It's really
fast.
steep.
Here, yeah, yeah.
I've been on it before, there's some areas where it gets pretty steep, it takes some work to make a trail, but, I mean,
You could be done.
it could be done, it definitely could be done, but it's gonna take some
Well,
equipment.
it seems like over here, is this, we don't have any access to this or not?
No,
Mhm.
there's no
Okay, so
easement
that,
to
oh,
this.
so you were just saying that was a good overlook, but
Yeah, it's
it's not our
beautiful.
property.
I've been up there several times, I used
It's
to
not the
live right
city's
here.
property.
But I happen to know the owners, but when I moved in, I went back there and, that guy came out and says, "What are you doing?"
You know, when we moved into our
"We're
house,
your neighbor." "Oh, okay."
the guy yelled at us, "Get off my property!" And I'm like, because on title I had already marked it all out, and I found the pins and everything. And I was like, "I'm on my property. Just don't tell me to get off my property." He's since moved, but he was like,
Well,
"Get
this
off
is
my
really
property."
pretty up here.
This is really
It is
pretty.
pretty,
It's,
and there's already kind of.
You
and
can see
there's
the
that
water
dirt
tower
road.
right there. Yeah, one of the tanks.
That dirt road goes.
Isn't this where Corbett's proposing a parking lot?
no,
Oh,
he's
sorry.
proposing the parking lot.
Up in this one?
Where am I again?
Because here's the lots. Here's you.
Oh, yeah, there's me. Yes, he is. Right here where it stops, he's proposing it here.
That's what I thought.
How do you get there?
Well, that would be for people to park and then access switchbacks, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
But,
'Cause here's
but
our
that road
switchbacks.
doesn't even go through, so that.
Well, they would be doing this.
No.
Aren't they using this as an easement?
Yeah.
And getting it that way?
Well, they
Uh-huh.
have to change the easement.
That, yeah, the Taylors
Are giving an easement. So this,
for walking, but I don't know if they're giving an easement for trucks other
And,
than
and
the
an
city
easement
trucks.
for the city.
yeah, right.
Well, then what would be the
This is
purpose
a
of
real-
the parking lot?
Unless they pave that, that's not a good idea to
Pave
have
paradise.
cars or anything on there. It's a
Well,
mess.
we're going to limit that anyway.
Well, the only
The new
2
ordinance.
cents that
Right,
I
we
have
would need a parking lot.
that has to do with the parking lot is everybody in Woodland Hills is gonna be given a sticker, free access to the parking lot. So we're talking about people that come from the outside of the city.
Oh,
And when they see that they have to pay to park up here, they're just gonna come down here and park and do it for us. I don't know if it's really gonna alleviate the problem. Most of the residents that come up to hike the trail,
so,
they walk up.
so they're gonna allow
Some do.
traffic up here.
I don't know.
That's just a proposal.
But there's another
It's
way
not
Well,
fine.
for traffic to get up.
They've
Yeah,
got-
by my house.
They've got an easement right here by your house. I mean, that's.
That was the other thing I was just going to do.
So that is an easement, is that paved?
I don't,
No, it's.
No, it's dirt.
Dirt, okay.
but it goes right down to Sky Lake. Yeah.
Yep,
But right now, here, where these people are building, I'm sure it's those people,
It is.
there's a fire hydrant, there's a utility box, and there's
I went and looked at it myself, and I think it's very close to property lines, but I don't think it is on our property. I think it's literally.
It doesn't matter, because they're,
a, on the
So-
flag
they've asked Machado.
I went and looked at just with the GPS and everything, and just the GPS looked like it was just barely off. Cause see how their lot kind of just bends out like this?
Yeah.
And if you look at it with the lines and the way that our fences, everything is set up, I think they are in the clear. I think it's just like right there, and there's no reason why we couldn't still make this vehicle accessible with where their utilities are, for my opinion.
And they're asking for, they've requested an easement, an additional easement from these guys,
For Machado?
to come right here, just that little corner, that triangle to
Does the
access
city
it.
have to pay for that?
I don't think so. I don't
I mean,
think
that's
so.
already an access point, but because of all the dirt that's been dumped in various
Right, but that can be
places up
cleaned
there,
up.
it's not as easy as it used to be.
But that, once this house is done, because these people have dumped all their dirt on that.
Yes, I read it, but no, I'm not like, it's challenging every single time. It's different every time I go.
Yeah, they're dumping on there. But they've also, because they're having, I know this because I live here, they're having conflict with these
Yeah.
guys. These guys are really giving them hell, so.
Well, that's why Corbett told me, he said it was okay, and I'm paraphrasing, that the city granted an easement for them to put their fire hydrant and everything on.
Because Ron is giving them a really hard time. I love Ron, he's
So-
great.
So what's that little skinny thing?
I'm not
That's
sure.
Isn't that the way you get up to the water tank right now? Is through this?
No,
Here.
it's this one.
This one.
Where is the water tank?
But there's
Right here?
See it?
Where's, okay, oh, I see, it's right there.
And there's
Okay, I got
also
it,
that.
I know. Okay, I didn't know that there was an easement down there.
There's this, there's that,
Here's
it's
the-
skinnier.
What do you
This
call
is a
it?
road.
The avalanche
But
fence.
that
Where are you,
looks
Janet?
like it's,
It's actually showing it's private property.
oh,
Yep, this is me.
Okay, so I'll go buy a big magnifying glass and paper clip.
Or, I have little Post-its. I can come help you if you wanna pick a time and we can get takeout or something.
I can't too
But I don't
sure.
know what I'm doing, but if you teach me.
Cause then we can split up the book.
And I numbered them so that if we wanted to take the book apart, which is really easy, we could put it back in order.
I
did
could,
that
I
today.
could come do that with you, Sherry.
Okay.
Is there a web source that this is available as well? Like, is there?
Utah County.
Just gonna be Utah County?
No, it's a
Oh,
special
okay.
plat page.
Okay.
I had, one of my searchers gave me the page. He gave me the link. It's right here, Robbie.
Just thought if we.
He told me how. So we can pull it up. So if we get together, I actually we could say
And
which
make it
map,
bigger on your-
because they're numbered.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we can look at it, and when you say, okay, Janet, pull up this one, and I can bring my laptop and we can pull it up and then we can zoom
Yeah,
in.
that'd be much easier.
That's a better idea.
Cause I have the, and so that's why I've saved this, cause I have the how
Probably
to.
in colors too,
It is.
cause that makes it hard when you're.
It was such
I got
a
this
big
app on my
ask.
phone that shows all the plans.
Yeah,
That's what Brad's looking at too.
Yeah.
but it doesn't show the official plats
Yeah, it
with the
doesn't.
easements.
Yeah, unfortunately, it
Doesn't show the
easements, not the.
Yeah, and so these ones do,
Okay, those do.
and so I printed them, but yeah, we could use these to identify which plat number, so this is Thousand Oaks. So if we're looking at Thousand Oaks, we're like, oh, okay, Janet, pull this one up, let's zoom in and see what this one has.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So that would be a good
Okay.
game plan. But I think it's good, and they want our input, and I think it's something that we
Yeah,
can do.
Let's give it.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I mean, the city owns that salt storage, where's that?
Now that's an
Yeah.
easement.
That we don't own it.
We don't, oh, you don't own it?
It's actually on the Davis. They let us use it. They've given us a use.
Did that
Oh.
grandfather over with the sale to the developer, do you know?
So-
I think so.
So all that's Davis.
Cause that's their pond.
But they did sell that, or they're keeping that?
No, it's all sold.
They
Which
sold
is
it to a
so sad.
developer.
To a developer, and I heard there's even
that's sad.
like townhomes.
Well, sometimes that's required with the new development, you have to have a
The
certain
state is
percentage
requiring it now.
of
Affordable housing.
small, affordable housing.
It's
And
required.
because it's Salem, it's gonna be streetlights and
Oh.
they.
And that is the most beautiful property.
Yeah.
I I know, and before it happened, we were trying so hard because we thought, some of us had the idea that, if they could do like a big lodge, right here, and maybe have some cabins or high end, and you could do like,
Ranchettes, kind of.
and you could do like a Ruth's Chris
Yep.
in the lodge and have it be a destination, and have rooms up above, like on the second story where people could stay overnight.
And a venue.
Or have like a bed and breakfast, like all these kinds of things we were hoping we tried.
Well, and they were thinking years ago of a golf course in there, and.
Well, that's why they're not part of Woodland Hills, because they wanted a golf course and they wanted Woodland Hills City to fund it. And the people that were in at the time, this is a story I heard, this is kind of the abbreviated, but you know, they were like, it's not feasible, we can't do that, we don't have the money to pay for that. Golf courses, swimming pools, and parks cost cities money, they don't make money.
Oh, yeah.
So Woodland Hills was like, we don't have enough tax base, we can't. And they, you know, and so they got mad and they went to Salem. Interesting thing is, do you see a golf course there? Salem didn't do it either,
No.
right?
That's a shame.
Did you
Well,
see
that's
how
why
this is
we have
actually
to
showing
do
it's
I
what
tested
else?
it, David's
This is
granddaughter, she thought it
Which
was.
one?
The actual, the salt storage, I don't know if we
Oh.
were given it, but it's shown as it is, and it's, what's funny
Oh,
is it's
that's
showing
good.
it's showing it's owned by us, but it's showing it's Salem. So,
That's funny.
so
We'll
it
take it.
shows that this, about right there is us.
That's really pretty over there too.
And then it looks like, the Nelsons gave us the easement to get to it.
Okay. What is that little box? Is that part of it? Since you're right there?
Good question, let's see. No, it's not, that's actually part of the Heights. Looks like over there's, it's a weird looking little chunk. that-
Oh, okay,
all
so it's
connected.
like probably a chunk they got in the,
So this is the city right there, or not? What's that?
No.
No, that's a private, right? Okay, that's that.
It's,
We
yeah,
own-
it's
your
private
roundabout.
owned, it is Woodland.
when you, here's the roundabout, you know when you see it.
Yes, I don't even want that to be sold. I hope they keep that.
Oh, I'll
And
say
this
it.
is probably
It
just
is.
mailboxes.
But it is.
Yeah, but
It's
I'll
not
put
sure.
it there.
No.
So everything's sold.
Well, then the church is over here.
Oh, yeah, no, that is the
Yeah,
church.
that is the
Church.
Yeah.
Yep, my bad, that is the church. This is,
And this is how we come in to the salt shed, isn't it?
Yeah.
This way?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And who, what, this is the city here?
No,
Okay.
that's pink,
yeah,
private.
Oh,
private.
private, I meant.
It's private.
Well, I mean, it's
but
all the
it is in our
same.
city.
Yes,
This is
and,
all in our
and,
city.
and a lot of this is now too. So Robert Nelson is developing, and a lot of these, they're just not showing yet, but,
What the Hank sold.
a lot of this annexed into the city, there's literally all of it except for one lady who said, I don't wanna be part of your city, so she's going to be an island. But everybody else here, the idea was if they accessed, but see, these guys are too. The idea was, well, for loafers, so
Yeah, didn't.
We're gonna
Sarah
go all the way
do
over
it
here.
with those? Yeah.
we're gonna go all the way over to here.
Oh, cause I was gonna say, these guys are in Elkridge, aren't, oh no, these guys aren't.
Not anymore.
Oh, so these,
So it's
so
just
that
for
big?
water.
If they access on our side, okay, so if they access on the Loafer side, they're Elkridge. If they access on our side, and some of these properties do access
Yeah,
on this
I-
side.
But this is
But
Elkridge.
this is Elkridge, cause these
Yeah.
guys access.
Yeah.
And,
They're not
the
The
There's
Wallentines.
Valentine's,
Yeah.
they now have an access there.
Yeah, so
But
Which
they're,
makes sense.
But they're
They also
Elkridge.
have an access.
no, their Wallentines are now Woodland Hills.
Oh, are they?
So there was
And
there
they
was
own
5 of
those.
them that annexed into Woodland Hills, 5 property owners back in there.
Oh.
So all of them mostly except for one, and I have that somewhere in my minutes from.
Oh.
But the county is slow to update, so, and that hasn't necessarily been done yet, like they probably haven't recorded the things yet to make it official, but we did approve it.
But that's good, you know that.
Okay, and then this right here is city, huh?
Yeah, isn't that weird?
This?
What?
Yeah, that's Woodland
private.
Hills, but it's private, but
Yeah,
yes,
this
it's
is
part of
private,
the
it's
city.
not city
Right, but I
like
mean,
this is.
it's
It's
in the
part of
Woodland
it,
Hills.
Yes.
Correct.
Yep, and then this one too. And they're
This
actually
is where
related to
all
the
the-
Davises, but they opted to stay.
Oh, Karen,
Yeah,
yeah, she's great.
she is great,
And she's really sadly sold it.
I know.
And of course she would be, she lives right there.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna
But
affect her.
there's lots of fingers in the pie, I mean, now there's all the grandkids and,
Yeah.
well, that's why I thought it was Woodland Hills, because I knew she was.
I know she's a little island now. Brad, you're awesome. Thank you.
It's right at that emergency exit.
So should we plan, or Sherry,
Yeah,
why
when
don't
do you
you
wanna-
send out a thing and when you're gonna do it and then.
We can bring a laptop or two, and I can get people hooked up and we can look them up.
Okay,
So we can find the plat number, cause that's gonna be the only way though, so we'll have to find them, cause it's literally just a list. And so I just kinda went in each one, and then you have to do like 5 steps to get it to load to be able to print, so it took me like 4 hours. Because I had to go into each one, and then go in, and go in, and go in, and then print.
Oh, well.
Yeah, it was a slow day at
do you
work.
have, city council on the 28th?
Yeah, the 4th.
I could do Wednesday or Thursday next week.
Wednesdays are always good for me. It's pretty cool,
The only thing I'm doing is playing pickleball.
which sounds fun.
Wednesday work?
Wednesday's good for me.
The 29th?
Yeah.
Next Wednesday is what you're saying?
Yeah, what time's good for you tonight?
6:30 or 7.
Okay.
So we can have maybe 2-7, so so everyone can have dinner time with their family. Is that too late, or do you wanna do 6?
Yeah, that's fine. 7's fine. Platinum, 7 p.m. at my house.
Yeah, do you have a big table we can spread out?
That's the 29th, you said?
29th, and I'm sorry, 6 p.m. did you say?
Let's do 6:30, that way it's kind of splitting the difference, is that okay?
Yeah.
I'm hard pressed always to get home, I work in PG, to the city council by 6, so I'm just thinking 6:30 will just give me a little cushion. In case there's bad traffic, I'm always stressed that I can't be late. I don't wanna be late, I don't wanna let anybody know.
I'll have a black eye, cause I'm getting eyelid surgery on my, I have a droopy eye in one eye. So I'll,
That's okay, we want to see your black eye.
yeah, it's gonna look not good.
So Jenna, do you wanna take all?
I'll
this?
take them,
Okay.
and I'll bring them. Unless you wanna work on it
Great, thanks
in
for,
between, I'm gonna try and look some things up in between.
thanks for doing all this,
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Does this start at 8 or,
Jenna, that's a lot of pretty.
7.
work.
Starts at 7.
because on my agenda it said 8 o'clock.
Oh, it did.
Well, one of the documents I go, 8 o'clock, okay, I got another hour. I'm sorry, I would have been here, I was sitting at home working,
No, you're good.
and I saw the 8 o'clock and I go, okay, and then I got the text saying, oh, we just read the agenda, you'll be fine. But
Oh, well,
I didn't read that text.
You're
Yeah, I got-
good.
then it's not as.
Well, we're glad you were here.
Yeah, it was from you.
So should we
Thank you.
adjourn, we have to like,
I can
Do
give
you
you
for these
other
for the
phone
Could have been a
minutes?
typo,
Okay.
Dennis.
What I'll do is I'll create
I'm sorry.
I'll create the email
Sorry
address
about
and I'll
that.
create a
Hang on.
spreadsheet
Well,
under
we
that
always
new
come at 7, so
Woodland
we
Hills
never
thing.
even-
I'll share it
Okay,
to you,
I'll
and
just-
we'll start entering everything that we have.
Did you bring
Make it
these?
as complete as possible.
no, the city
So-
had them and they told us to eat them.
Okay, so I gotta write that down. I need to send
That
that.
biscuit was really good.
That's what I wondered, I was like, what, is that one?
What is it?
Mm-hmm. I make a motion that we adjourn our
I'm
meeting.
not-
Second.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna head out, guys. I gotta catch up with something, but thank you for everybody's time. It's good
Thank
seeing
you.
everybody again, and I will talk to you guys soon.
Thank you.